So, independent women in anime. Or I really should title it independent characters in anime. I'm still workshopping it. It all depends on how the thumbnail looks. So, I've been meaning to touch on this for a while now, and something in me just like clicked. So I had to just talk about it in the way I'm going to talk about it now. And obviously this is going to get the usual suspects riled up. You know, they're going to be all like,
it's giving misogyny, and who are you to know better about what women want and what women should do? Honestly, it's giving insecure, and I don't
know better. That's the whole point. But the Lord does, and we must follow God's word. Obviously, we are not perfect. We are not perfect beings. But at the end of the day, the goal is togetherness. Man was made for woman, to be with the woman. And the fact that anime encapsulates this and pushes that messaging on the young men is not a bad thing. I see so many different content creators, so many different people speak out against how like, oh, the women are done dirty and how they're always portrayed as housewives. And that's so infuriatingly like insensitive to women and what they truly want. When if you look at what we do in society, no matter what country that bounds us, you know, compels us to do what we do, we all find a reason to boast about why being independent is so great, because so we can have it to give to someone else. I remember there was a quote from Iron Man that speaks out to me every time. I don't even watch the movie anymore. I haven't watched it in a while, like years, but this always stands out to me. It was from Jensen's words to Tony. He was like, so you're a man who has everything, but also has nothing. And because what is a man who is standing on top of the world if he has nothing to give it to, without a legacy to his name? Empires crumble and fall with time. But at the end of the day, if you have someone to be with you at the end of days, then that is what's important. And the fact that anime pushes that is nothing wrong. I see too many characters, and by characters, I mean content creators, coming on this freaking online, getting on their high horse being like, oh, people, anime characters and anime women should be written more like Nobara, or written more like Mei, minus the creep shit. So this comment comes from my boy James. I'm going to try my best to be as respectful as I can when I'm addressing these points, but let's get into it. That's not even the same Trunks from Z. Plus, he has no homies unlike the Team Goku, or Goku team, and happened to be fighting Goku. So I don't think Trunks is a fraud. The writers of Super are fraudulent. You do know and you do understand that Dragon Ball Super is literally canon to Dragon Ball Z and the continuation of Dragon Ball Z. We see that in the first episode. Anyway, that's all I'm going to give the energy to this. Anyway, peace. And it's like, I just never understand this. I never understand why, especially when it comes to like a lot of like content creators, whether they be men or women, they typically enjoy talking about how negative the portrayals of women were in anime. Look at Bulma, for example. People say, oh, she wanted a man. It's such a weird, it's such a, you know, such a codependent goal. Why would you want that? Why would you want to be with a man? Why would you want to love? And I feel like a lot of things in media keeps pushing men and women away from love and keeping us away from God's love as well. Of course, good book goes as follows. Be sober, be vigilant, for your hardships, the devil. He is like a lion and he roars for whom he may next consume. At the end of the day, this stuff is real. And you can choose to deny it. You can choose to run away from it all you choose to. But at the end of the day, this is the truth. Like, you can argue, oh my God, these characters are not as deeply fleshed out, and they can be more fleshed out. I think a lot of characters in anime have been deeply fleshed out and should be deeply fleshed out, specifically with the women. I think Chi-Chi is a great character. I think that they have been representing her wrong as far as modern media and modern representation, as far as painting her in this overly negative lens, when that isn't the case. Of course, you paint the traditional woman in this negative lens, but of course, Bulma's the more understanding, still fiery, but still understanding, because, you know, she's still a woman at the end of the day. So she's still going to have that sassiness. She's still going to have that time and way of speaking, you know, at the end of the day. But the thing that kills me is, again, Bulma still wanted a family. At the end of the day, she got what she wanted. She has the empire, but she was still unhappy. She was still unsatisfied. She was young and had nothing but her future ahead of her as far as like what she could have achieved and what she achieves now. Yet still, she wanted that. Why? Why is it that whenever these celebrities talk about, oh, we don't need a man, we don't need this, we don't need that, at the end of the day, they always end up having one. They end up having someone to come home to, someone to love them when the time is just not going well for them. In their darkest hours, when they have someone to confide to, they are there to answer the call. And more importantly, that type of love makes you want to go to the Lord even more. It makes you grateful for God's gifts, to not deny his will. And honestly, I think that the fact that a lot of Westerners, especially in modern day, keeps painting it in such a negative lens, I think it's just like even more confirmation that the devil, the enemy, is still fast at work doing his due diligence to put us down and obviously to make us stray from the path of righteousness, obviously. And that is through God's path. But at the end of the day, the fact that these people keep making videos, simping and going crazy for the feminist cult, basically, it's just hilarious to me because they never see how idiotic they sound. But yeah, at the end of the day, women, even in real life, especially in real life, because this is why you see this. I know it's with the current political climate, it feels like women just hate men, but that isn't the case at all. Their anger comes from a lack of love. Love heals all, and God's grace is the greatest love. And with a man who has God's grace can also heal the pain of anyone, because the Lord can change the hearts and minds of people. I believe in that, and you should too. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.